Hey folks, thank you for joining. Let's do some quick sound checks. If you can go to the questions box, please, and say, hey Nick, we can hear you, we can see you. You can see Google Ads Guide 22. See some activity here in the questions box. Brian, William, everyone, Nathan, people saying, hey, Nathan said looking good, Nick, thanks. I feel good, thanks. Angela, perfect, awesome. All right, guys, let's just do a few sound checks real quick across the board. Logan, sound check, please.
As I unmute my mic. Okay, sound check, testing the mic, 1, 2, 3. This is Logan. Can y'all hear me?
Beautiful.
Sweet.
Cesar, green
Hey,
light to you.
1, 2, 3.
Awesome. Awesome. Folks, we're going to give everyone one more minute. We always give everyone till 2:02. In the meanwhile, if this is the first time you are joining an exclusive webinar, you've got to do our tradition. Go to the questions box, tell us your name and the company that you are dialing in from. We want to get to know you. We know maybe 70% of the people who are already in here, so pretty cool. But if you're new, say hello. We'd love to say hello back. Got William from Steel City Collectibles, David from Kiva Lighting, Matthew DuPont from Primetime Toys. These all sound like fun places. Collectibles, toys, lighting. Lance from Generational Group. Got Lucia from CVI Technology, Nathan Mansour from BW Retail. Hey, Nathan. Ewan Gilmore from Amrita Aromatherapy, Kristen from American Textile, Freddie from Thumbprint Sellers, Sammy from Seaboard, Kelly from Stanley Black & Decker, Mary Beth Arnold, Cree LED, Mark from Macrolife Naturals. Okay, that was so many people in like 1 second. Thank you guys for joining, and we should get started because it is 2:02. And we have 74 slides to go through, so let's have fun with this. Okay, so about exclusive really quick. We work with businesses who need to grow. That's what we've been doing for 25 years. We find out ways to grow in a way that's healthy. A big part of what's made us successful is that we have a lot of partners who are super smart and very helpful, and they care about us, we care about them. So shout out to our partners, especially Google, that has come here to help us present so much rich information for e-com. Handful of clients, people who trust us, just if you trust them and they trust us, that's something. We have different departments for everything that we have built over these 25 years. We have an SEO department, Google Ads department, our Amazon, social, conversion testing, email, SMS, and all of that is guided by a strategy team. That's how we have this nice byplay. Our focus for all of our clients is let's drive performance. Another way of saying this is, how do we make our clients healthier? Just making sure that they have the cash and the future outlook that actually will make them healthier in the long run. A big theme that's going to run throughout this webinar as well, since it is our philosophy. One of the things that has helped us over the years is we just spent a lot of time building technology from scratch. About 100 of our 270-ish employees between marketing team, content team, data science team, but 100 of them are focused just on our technology. Our marketing team wants to do smart things, and there's not enough technology out there for us to do it, so we built it. And one of the main things we do for everyone is Google Ads data, Bing Ads data, Google Analytics, Facebook data, Amazon data, all this data connected into one system. The reason we did this, the reason we do this is because we want to look at the data in a way that marketers like to look at data. And we put that and collate it and combine it and filter it down into dashboards. When a dashboard has found something that should be acted upon, it goes into a workflow report. The workflow report goes to the right person. And if the data is telling us that something is wrong, it goes to us as an alert. And it's as simple as that. Those are the things we wanted to be able to drive performance, so we built it. That's it for exclusive. Um, Myself, I'm Nick Rajpal. I've been here at Exclusive almost 14 years. I joined the company when we were managing 6 employees on the E team. I'm still part of the E team. I developed our channels, SEO, Google Ads, conversion testing, email, our strategy philosophy. And after the first few years, I moved on to just work with companies who want to be our client. And I try to help come up with the right strategy for them. And that's my intro. Say so.
Hey everyone, and thanks so much for having me here today. My name is Cesar Coco. I have been an agency development manager at Google since 2018. I have over 7 years of experience helping mid-market clients and customers in the digital ad space. Previous to my role here at Google, I was working for Criteo in the UK market based out of Barcelona, but I'm really happy to be here at Google helping our premier partners drive forward transformational change for their clients. And currently my kind of side hustle within Google is privacy-centric measurement, enhanced conversion. So super excited about the future of privacy as well. So,
Awesome. Cesar, now that we went live, I just want you to test out your mouse. If you can accelerate to the next slide, please. Yay. Okay, it's working. Logan.
All right, that's my cue. Thanks, guys. Hi, everyone. My name is Logan Durant. I'm our VP of Client Strategy here at Exclusive. I'm coming up on my 10-year anniversary. I was able to launch our Google Shopping and Marketplace services at Exclusive. My directive was to drive paid advertising growth throughout the department. Now I'm on the strategy side, helping create new strategies for clients and ensuring those strategies are carried out. So excited to be here today.
Logan, can you test to your mouse as well? Working, not working. Spacebar. If it doesn't work, it's okay. I'll proceed for you. Live technical checks, guys. Okay, so let's get into. It's the only way to do it with GoToWebinar, by the way. So, let's first talk about what has held a lot of e-commerce businesses back. We look at Google Ads and we interpret for ourselves what it actually means for us and what we're supposed to do. And then there's this like general consensus that kind of drives some myopia in how people see things. So we're going to talk about what those constraints are. The first thing is that everyone's kind of understood that when you go to Google Ads, you've got a ROAS target, and you have one ROAS target, and there's a lot of good reasons why someone would think that, ROAS, return on ad spend, return on investment, keeps your business healthy. You can say, I want to have return on ad spend between 300 and 400%, maximize revenue, so it could be a constraint balanced with revenue. It's smart. It's got us to where we are for over a decade, but there are some cons. You can't easily measure awareness in return on ad spend. What if you want awareness to keep growing so that by ballooning that in 3 months, your return on ad spend is better than it's ever been? You can't easily measure loyalty in return on ad spend or how many people are positively talking about you, advocacy. You can't value the efforts to kind of target one of your competitors and conquest them. And it doesn't really value net new acquisition. So while it's really helpful that it's a guide, it is also limiting. There's also been an argument for let's make Google Ads Google Ads and Facebook Ads is Facebook Ads. They cannot work together. Why? The main reason is decision makers who've outsourced to agencies really have driven this. They've kind of come up with this idea that, there's some agencies that are really good at Google Ads, really good at Facebook, and I just want the best of the best. So I'm going to hire 2 different agencies. They don't need to talk to each other. Fine. It is simple for line itemization and accounting and everything, but really lots of cons. And the main con is Google and Facebook and Amazon, they're not even thinking about building their platforms as a silo anymore. They're thinking about you have Facebook ads and you're going to upload them as discovery ads in Google. Like they're thinking about connections. And then you create assets for these different channels. You want to repurpose them across the board. You want insights that are shared, keyword data from Amazon and Google Shopping shared. And you don't get this chance to actually have these holistic efforts. Last thing, and this is it's maybe even bigger concept, that a lot of e-commerce businesses focus on performance agency. A lot of direct-to-consumer businesses started off with branding, and then they tiptoed into performance by keeping things separated. We have a lot of retailers that started off on the performance agency side and now are trying to think about branding. It should all work together. Like, it is one of those outsourced by expertise concepts once again. And yes, one comes from the traditional world, one comes from digital world. And most people think branding and performance are just so cleanly separated in the funnel. What's the big deal? But the truth is, branding permeates every single step of the funnel. And an asset can be turned into a performance asset. Doesn't matter how beautifully branded or esoteric it is, it can be turned into a revenue driver. And growth requires buy play, just like return on ad spend and revenue require a buy play and a balance. Branding and performance also require a buy play. And we just bring up these constraints because we want to shatter these constraints. But before we shatter them and offer a solution, we also want to think about that branding side a little bit. Virtually all the accounts we see in e-commerce these days focus on the now. Transactions that can be grabbed right now. So people who are searching, people that recently visited your website, your past customers, whatever the market is dictating, how many sales can I make today from people who are intending to buy? But awareness and advocacy are layers of the future. If there's more people talking about me and there's more people learning about me, my future outlook is beautiful. It is bigger than my current outlook could ever be by just focusing on transactions. So why is now the time to harness advocacy and awareness? The data is pretty shocking. This is from Google, by the way. I'm going to pass the mic to Cesar in a second, but I'm going to present two of his slides that he wanted me to present here. One, the growth potential estimated during pandemic is really high. The post-pandemic growth potential that is estimated is even higher. Can you believe there's parts of the market that aren't even active yet, that are waiting for the pandemic to come to an end? And we're just on the cusp now of a faster growth than we've even been experiencing. And during all that, as the market got bigger, the demand got bigger, people changed their habits. People used to go to the internet to find the cheapest product. And now only 28% of people care about that. Well, what, they're ready to switch brands. They're going to do something different. Cesar, please fill in some gaps here.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Nick. And I think that the really interesting part about this is not just that shift towards online in general, but it's just that we know that specifically within CPG, which is where bulk of these slides come from, those customers are very fiercely loyal to purchasing in store, but we're seeing a very drastic shift towards online within the CPG vertical. So we're really excited to show you some of this data today. From our CPG tier 1 client teams that have made this exclusively, no pun intended, available for exclusive. So in the beginning of the pandemic, people were definitely experiencing very high anxiety. I'm sure we can all relate. And they wanted to feel safe, comforted, and so people turned to trusted brands. And during that period, search growth for brands within shopping categories actually surpassed generic searches in shopping. But in 2021, what we've seen is that search growth within shopping categories using generic terms is surpassing branded searches. So what this suggests is a lower loyalty, and openness to newness. So it's really important to understand that now we have more need for choice and variety than before, and we see more generic searches looking for inspiration and excitement. So excitement for new things is a big risk for those legacy brands that benefited at the outset of the pandemic. So now awareness and advocacy are more important than ever before. So it's not going to come as a major surprise to anyone, but 2020 was a major year like no other. But we often say that we experienced over 10 years within 10 months. So with that came these fundamental changes in how people are discovering and how they're experiencing and shopping for new brands. So we've got to think about, how consumers used to discover new brands, and about half of consumers have shouted out that going to a store was the key reason or a key way to discover new brands. But actually now 70% of consumers are saying that they bought from brands they discovered on YouTube. So when we think about the role of YouTube and how that's evolving, it's incredible to think about how people are becoming much more open to discovery on YouTube, in addition to some of the performance opportunities to drive conversions on YouTube. But YouTube as a discovery platform is becoming more and more significant. And 63% of consumers are actually preferring to try products from the comfort of their home now versus in store, because they still don't feel quite safe. So the key takeaway here is that as people are shifting and their shopping journeys are shifting to online channels, Google is able to give brands that possibility to be present in those digital touch points. So really wanted to be here to drive home that point today. So as people are searching for these different ways to address needs that emerged with the pandemic, as they look for a place to restock or buy new products, brands can be there reminding consumers that they have what they need and nudge them to buy those products. And I think it's back over to you.
Awesome. Yes, awesome. So obviously, there's more demand, there's more online activity from that demand, and people are okay learning about new brands, and they can learn about new brands in unconventional ways. Now conventional, but historically unconventional, like I learned about a brand on YouTube. All of a sudden I trusted enough to buy it. That's pretty amazing. That didn't exist 5 years ago, which really just tells us things change over time. We've got to figure out how to evolve. So this is a nice little history lesson. We're always evolving on the marketing side. Going back to 1898, E. St. Elmo Lewis came up with one of the first marketing funnels where he said, let's try to figure out a way in which we can purposely have activity in different steps and have strategies around activating that activity, because that activity will lead to more sales. Almost 100 years later, as we started to develop this e-com era, every single conference, every presentation almost always starts with this like buying funnel. It's typically awareness, like consideration, conversion, loyalty, and advocacy, and it's a funnel. But what this doesn't get right, and most funnels don't get this right, is that sometimes the last step in a funnel restarts the funnel. If more people are talking about you, that's advocacy. Then aren't there more people learning about you? Doesn't it just start the whole thing again? In recent years, there's been a much better embracing of these ideas of virtuous cycles. Cycles that as they complete, they strengthen and restart and go faster and get bigger. And people talk about flywheels all the time, like Amazon's flywheel, etc. A flywheel, essentially, and the concept is very simple, is that if you know the activities that feed into each other and you keep these activities going, your business cannot stop growing. So take all this into a framework. We have a few goals of the framework as well. We know that there's these constraints. So we're going to break through those constraints. We want to coordinate across shared phases. So meaning a phase like awareness, we want to do coordination with Facebook awareness, Google awareness, right? We want to have KPIs that are not just return on ad spend, but maybe awareness has a KPI like impressions. That's a volume of awareness. Maybe the quality metric of that is click-through rates. So you have to embrace other KPIs. And then we want to bring branding and performance together. As we explored what this framework should be for all of e-commerce, we thought, aren't there some natural laws that we cannot break? And there are. There are natural laws here, axioms, as Einstein used to use, to say there's always natural laws you cannot break. So first, there are several phases of activity that marketing can influence. That's just a basic law. Any phase can generate momentum in the activity cycle. So for example, if a lot of people are advocating for you, doesn't that automatically start a cycle that will result in sales? Activity from each phase can be uniquely measured for volume and quality, like awareness, impressions, click-through rate. And activity from one phase will always generate some activity in the subsequent phase. So all you have to do now is kind of map this out. All the information's out there. So what is the framework? There are 5 phases. There's no starting point. They are a virtuous cycle. Awareness is when people know about you, and they should because they might want to buy from you someday. Consideration is when you show up when people actually want to buy something. That's like search ad. Conversion is when someone has engaged with your business and all the activities you do to remarket to them until they buy. Loyalty is once they've already bought, how do we get them to buy again? What does that phase look like? What does the activity look like there? And advocacy is some people are happy enough to talk about you, which again, the more people that talk about you, the more people that know about you, that may not influence sales today, but it will balloon your opportunity in the future. So this is classic. This is what everyone does these days. This is ambitious. It is smart. The strongest performers in e-com have learned this lesson and invest in it. We call this a virtuous activity cycle because it's activity that you want to keep measuring and initiating in each of these phases to go faster and faster and grow in a way that your competitors just feel like they should give up. So let's see. Do you get this? But if you get it, where are you underinvested within Google Ads right now? Gut check. You can choose as many as you want. This is great. When I share this, folks, but you can see where all this is a collective of 130 people right now that are actively voting. So this is a pretty nice collective swath of information across your peers. We'll give this another 3, 2, 1, and let's check this out. Wow, people are still voting. Okay. All right. Good. Done? Okay, good. Let's see. 55% of you awareness. Yeah, you know, your awareness could be like as much ad spend as you probably invest in everything else. And just wait to see what that does. It's phenomenal. 50% advocacy. Most of you, as is predicted, don't really see much more room for visibility on the consideration side, or you've got your conversion funnel, you know, your remarketing for card abandoners pretty tight. 39% of you do think though that your past customers don't get enough treatment. So hopefully this is helpful, guys. This is all your peers in real time. It's helpful for us because we're investing a lot of our time and effort to try to do a better job of bringing awareness and advocacy to life. So just real quick, if you're doing all this activity in Google Ads, how can you actually separate the activity that's awareness and advocacy and consideration? So you can use audience rules to break out your segments. There's certain ad types that apply to those segments, and it's important to start mapping your KPIs separately. Again, awareness KPIs, impressions, and click-through rate. Consideration is typically clicks and conversion rate. Conversion is conversions at average order value. For loyalty, it is non-new sales, and your quality metric is lifetime value. And for advocacy, it is how many mentions you get, how many reviews you get, and then the overall Likert score of that on maybe a scale of 1 to 5. There's unique KPIs of quality and volume for every single step, and you can wrap it all together into TROAS if you need to. So we were really happy to hear that Google also embraces a very similar philosophy that kind of just works directly with the VAC framework. We're seeing that across all the platforms that we engage in, people are thinking outside the bounds, and they're thinking about how to use data better within Google Ads. Cesar, can you walk us through a little bit of this the messy middle approach?
Yeah, certainly. And I take a little bit of offense to the naming convention here as a middle child, but really what this is speaking to is how traditionally brands have executed their brand marketing and their performance marketing separately. And I think, Nick, you mentioned this earlier on. So that brand building was driven by TV ads, for example, and other very broad-reaching vehicles, while the performance marketing was driven by lower funnel media with a super strong focus on data-driven measurement. But the reality is that the consumer journey is way too messy for brands to keep these two strategies separate. And so leading organizations are now moving toward what Exclusive is looking at through the lens of this virtuous activity cycle marketing strategy. So this is an approach that combines the power of both brand building and performance marketing through linked teams, measurement systems, and more holistic KPIs. And so by adopting this sort of VAC marketing, advertisers are able to work much more meaningfully with their agency partners and transcend any silos that may be within the organization. And companies can also become much more relevant to their consumers, which is ultimately the most important part of what we do. And so we want to generate more value here. I think that's also a very important part of what we do, but sometimes we're skeptical to invest additional marketing dollars. So I want to talk a little bit about how we can sort of conquer the messy middle in an efficient way. So all of this is super easy to say, blending performance and branding, but it seems actually that when we go in to figure out our marketing strategy, how to combine these two, it gets a little bit more complicated. So I want to talk about one of the tools that makes this a lot easier, and that's machine learning. And machine learning has become a super invaluable tool to help navigate the complexity of this messy middle for business owners. And so thanks to machine learning, Google is able to process an infinite number of signals across its platforms. And we're also able to assess those signals across every single auction, which is really cool. And Google's automated technologies are basically the creme de la creme of solutions to help you achieve your goals across the Google landscape, but the algorithms are super nuanced and they really need to be managed as well as empowered. So that takes a great deal of wisdom and expertise. And, maybe not everyone on this call is a marketing guru. And that's why we invest in our agency partners, and Google does as well, to help bring their executional excellence with regards to the messy middle to the marketplace. And I want to wrap this up with sort of like an analogy here, because we all have been on an airplane in the past, and airplanes and flights, for example, are heavily automated. But most of us would never get onto an airplane or fly without an experienced pilot in the cockpit. So it's the same with automation. We want to be sure that we are capturing those nuances and really taking advantage of our role as consultants to make the algorithms work for us across the messy middle. I think I'm trying to confirm here if I went too far in our slides. So we usually use Google Hangouts or Google Meet, and so I am new to this this GoToMeeting environment. Nick, am I on?
Sorry, you're on automation is key to successful strategy across the funnel.
Awesome, great. So we're moving on to the next slide here. But it seems like I've lost control.
Cesar, do you want to be on the automation is key to a successful strategy across the funnel?
No, we should be on our next slide.
Okay, perfect. So folks, tips to supercharge your virtuous activity cycle. We're just going to go through ways to map Google's features, including some new features that are in alpha and pilot, to the virtuous activity cycle. Again, awareness, consideration, conversion, loyalty, and advocacy. So we're going to start off with awareness. And awareness is, again, this is before people are showing a lot of intent to buy. They haven't gone to Google to search for a particular product yet. How can we get in front of them? So a few ideas on the awareness side.
There you go. That's me again. So I want to talk to you all a little bit about discovery ads that help you target, your awareness strategies a little bit further and bring them to life. So discovery is one of the coolest campaign types that we're most excited about here at Google. And so think about discovery ads as sort of like Google's solution to some of those other social campaign types that you get across other partners in the landscape. And these discovery ads allow you to capture the intent of shoppers using our automated intent signals. And usually when shoppers are using the discovery feed or the YouTube discovery feed, they are in that exploration mindset, browsing the web. So what you're able to do with discovery ads is reach over 3 billion consumers across not just YouTube placements that are used within those discovery campaigns, but also the discovery the actual discovery page within Android as well as Gmail. So you're able to capture all of these different placement types within these discovery ads and turn that interest into actual action.
Great. And I can echo Cesar's excitement around discovery ads on the exclusive side as well. It's an ad format that our team has fallen in love with. We use it in most of our accounts to drive that awareness and drive new customers. It really has proven to be one of the most effective ways to spend in that awareness bucket. And Google has enabled a really cool workflow. I think you mentioned it before, Nick, where you can actually copy Facebook ads directly into discovery ads. So it's not only synergistic from a time standpoint, but it also helps you coordinate your marketing efforts across channel.
Awesome. So I also wanted to talk a little bit about our smart shopping campaigns. So with our smart shopping campaigns, you'll be able to extend your shopping campaigns originally appearing only on google.com to YouTube search, home feed, as well as the watch page, which is coming soon. So these smart shopping campaigns have been shown to drive 30% greater conversion value compared to those standard shopping campaigns. So it's great for performance tactics as well. But they really are great for that awareness play because they're the best way to present across all moments of intent on Google as well as YouTube. And remember that within that smart shopping platform or campaign type, you're also able to target specifically new customers if need be. And you can toggle your strategies between new and existing customers. So that smart shopping campaign is really a great tool, not just for performance-based tactics, but also for awareness plays to complement those discovery ads. Cool. So most recently, we launched video action campaigns, which are the newest generation of our YouTube ads. And we want to talk about how these are using machine learning to automatically serve the most efficient combination of video ads across the YouTube home feed and the watch pages, as well as our extended network of Google Video partners. And that's going to help you, again, not just drive sales, or boost web traffic or find new leads, but also drive that awareness. So it's really possible to use YouTube in all different areas of the Virtuous cycle, but we also want to think about how we can use YouTube ads in a really exciting way within e-commerce. So what you're able to do here with the YouTube ads is that you can attach your product feeds from the Merchant Center, and advertisers can now add browsable product images right underneath their videos. And so this can lead consumers directly to the website or the app. So really amazing opportunity across these video action campaigns as well to infuse them with Merchant Center data, your product feed data, and also drive customers a little bit further down the cycle.
And just to recap once again, consideration is now what 77% of you said, I'm good. I already do that really well. I don't need to do a better job there. It is when people are searching for something and you show up, so you can actually be on the shelf to make the sale. Um, but there's so many advanced techniques to use to get even better at it. So don't rest on your laurels. What do we got?
Yeah, sure. So for consideration, at the center of Google's e-com offering is the Google Merchant Center. So within that Merchant Center, which you're all likely familiar with for shopping campaigns, you can manage how your in-store and online product inventory is appearing across all of Google's properties. So these solutions help to get your products in front of the hundreds of millions of people who do shopping-related searches on Google and YouTube every day. So we have one that's for brands selling directly to consumers, which is the Merchant Center. And then we also have another one, which is for brands selling via resellers. And that one is called the Manufacturer Center. So the product feed from Merchant Center is the backbone of almost everything that we're doing across our emerging shopping experiences cross-platform. And so really thinking about how you can optimize your Merchant Center and make sure you're taking into consideration those opportunities to improve your product feed through the Merchant Center or highlight different insights about your business through that product feed is going to be key to fueling your success across all of these kind of shopping 2.0 experiences that are in the Google roadmap. So we've got our video action campaigns, which we talked about, the discovery ads, which is our somewhat social offering, and those smart shopping campaigns. And now all of those are seamlessly connected to the product feeds so that you all can easily add product detail and imagery to your ads and ultimately service the right product to the right shopper.
Thank you for mentioning Manufacturer Center, by the way. Way too few manufacturers know that they can control their reseller visibility and co-op opportunities and things like that. So super helpful.
Awesome. So I want to talk a little bit about some of the other ways that we can improve consideration. So users are much more likely to purchase from brands where they can message with the business and enjoy an assisted shopping experience. So this enables brands to really drive those increases to sales through that messaging. And Search Ads is exploring new message ad formats to deliver a higher user engagement through those kind of rich asynchronous messaging techniques, which most users are already familiar with and actually prefer. So as business owners or leaders within your organizations, you will be able to drive really strong lead generation as well using this tool and acquisition campaigns that take users to an automated messaging bot, for example. They can also take users to a live rep or a combination of both. So this is currently a pilot, but wanted to throw it all on your radar. And through the premier partnership that Exclusive has with us at Google, we're able to make this much more of a reality for you all as well. So really excited about this messaging feature, but I also wanted to talk a little bit about some of the other ways that we can supercharge your shopping. The first one is fast and free, and with this you can highlight your compelling free shipping policies and fast shipping for items delivered in 3 business days, for example, and different kind of features there when it comes to really capitalizing on that urgency that the consumers are feeling. Let's see. I promise I'm going to master this clicker by the end of this this presentation, and I'll be a pro in the next one, Nick. So we've also got the returns policy. So this is an opportunity for you all to highlight your compelling return policies on shopping ads and free listings, and also to build trust with your customers by delivering reliable fulfillment experiences. Next, I want to talk to you all about the merchant promo. So historically, Google has not really done a great job to make sure that your in-store promotions, if you have a store, are well represented across our 7 platforms. And so this provided a less than ideal experience for consumers. And in 2020, in a joint partnership with our product teams, we worked to accelerate this space and drive parity across in-store deals experiences online. So we're really planning to continue to invest in this space in 2022 with an increase in reporting, so you can digitally merchandise your sales or deals similar to how you do that in store. For example, which promo drove more new customers or which one had a higher conversion rate. And this will allow business owners, to optimize customer data digitally. And this next one is one that I'm really excited about. So within the Google My Business, you're able to feature different indicators to showcase your business as Black-owned, for example, or women-owned. And we understand through the emerging trends and recent events that this is really important for consumers within some, and if not many, demographics. So really staying in tune with how you can showcase your identity as a business and highlight really important indicators to customers will really help drive forward those consideration strategies as well. So finally, last but not least, buy on Google. So merchants and brands can list and sell their products directly within Google properties for zero commission, which is really great, unlike some of our other friends. But with buy on Google, those offers shown across free listings, for example, on the shopping tab and homepage, which is really key. So really excited about buy on Google. There's a really strong roadmap internally for e-com within Google, and we're really excited for all of the exciting things that we'll be able to actually realize for you all through the exclusive partnership. And while some of these are still in pilot or in beta, to boost consideration strategies, as soon as they're out into market, you can be sure that we will be capitalizing on them and bringing that to life for you all.
One thing I just wanted to mention there is that you can upload your Amazon feed directly into that program, and it automatically adapts for the ability to sell free on Google while you're paying a 15+% commission on Amazon.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Nick. Okay. There you go. So we talked about some of those features that we are introducing to help you drive consideration, but there's something that I think many advertisers forget. And a lot of times when I get an email about a customer through one of my agencies that is not really happy, and maybe I need to help my account strategist tackle that challenge. And if performance is just not there, one of the first things I do is look at the site and see what my experience is as a consumer on site. And site speed is so incredibly important that with just a 0.1 improvement in mobile site speed, for example, we can see an average of over 8% increase in conversions. So please don't forget to invest in solutions and tag managers or agency partners that cater to a fast site speed. It's so important, but very easily forgotten.
Great. And on the exclusive side, in terms of consideration, we are obviously big fans of smart shopping here, and the full funnel elements of the video action campaigns and discovery campaigns. But there are still some use cases to use traditional shopping, and one of those is to tap into search query funneling. So one of the huge use cases here is if you're an e-commerce business where you have a very small number of keywords that impact a disproportionate amount of your revenue, and you have to show up for those terms in order to grow, search query funneling is still a viable tactic and technique for you to dominate the SERP and thus get more revenue and grow your business. So it might not be here forever, but it is still something we employ and still one of the more effective ways to own specific terms on Google Shopping.
Yeah, we love this. And folks, Cesar is presenting what you don't always see behind the scenes with what Google does with agencies, especially their top agencies, is as these new features come out, there is a process to learn across the entire organization, and adoption metrics and goals are set so that all these things that we're talking about right now, we've already allowed them to permeate our clients, so we have a better understanding of where they fit and where they don't fit. So best to be explained by Google, but we greenlight all of these features. We're pretty excited about them. Let's talk about conversion. Conversion is someone's come to your website and they haven't bought yet. So how are you going to get them to make that purchase? Every one of your competitors is going to stick to this potential customer until this potential customer finally makes a sale. Are you going to stick with them as well?
Yeah, thanks, Nick. So conversion, it's so important. It's the bottom line. And so wanted to talk to you a little bit more about those video action campaigns or our YouTube ads that are, we call those video action campaigns as such because they're tweaked to drive that conversion action. And so there is a series of best practices that are recommended and put forward by Google to ensure that those YouTube campaigns are focused in on that conversion. So video action campaigns are really that, the performance iteration of YouTube ads. And so I also wanted to talk about two additional considerations in order to drive conversions on YouTube. And in addition to what we already talked about is including that product center data or the merchant center data, as well as really optimizing across the YouTube platform. But we also want to think about how can we use creative that speaks to the specific products that are being highlighted and exhibited from the feed. So now that we've got our video action campaigns and they're tweaked and managed in a way that's conversion focused with all of those best practices that have been gathered from previous campaign data at Google, you also have an opportunity to improve your creative and have it highlight different products that you're showing or product categories that you're showing within the feed. So think an actor talking about scarves as the customer and potential customer sees scarves highlighted and the scarf category products highlighted within that same ad. So think about how you can merge your creative across YouTube with those product feed categories that you're exhibiting and focusing on within specific campaigns. And the second thing I wanted to mention here to drive success across video action campaigns, you can zoom in and only target customers who have not converted or potential customers, I should say. So here, if you're really zooming in on conversion and you really want to get a sense of how you can create a strategy that's just for people who haven't converted before, you can add audience lists to the video action campaigns that are specific to users who have visited the site in the last 15 days, for example, or those that haven't converted but are close to. So you can better target your investments here for efficiency. Awesome. So discovery ads, I also wanted to touch base here again on these because, again, you can activate different audiences across the discovery ads. And remember, within the discovery ads, you're also able to use lead forms. Actually, I should point out that we have lead forms available, not just on discovery ads, but across display ads, YouTube, as well as search. And these have all in the last year or so been merged in a way where you can actually see leads for any of you that are looking for leads or have any aspect of your business that's lead-based, gathered across all of these different channels in one place. And you'll be able to extract them or connect those to any sort of CRM that you may be using or for better management of those leads. So with the discovery ads, you can utilize lead forms as well as those audiences that haven't converted in the past that are close to converting to optimize discovery ads for conversion.
And most ad types can be isolated towards people who've never engaged with you, people who are, cart abandoners and past customers. And the ones that can focus on your 1P lists, you want to double down during this loyalty phase, which is just more purchases from past customers. As 3P has started to get interrogated by companies, governments, and the public, we are seeing everyone focus now on 1P success. So we've developed a simple approach for organizing your 1P data, your customer lists or your email lists, so that it can apply seamlessly with Google and Facebook. So first thing that we suggest is that you create as many lists as possible that may have a strategic separated purpose, like all your holiday buyers over the past 5 years that you will target more aggressively for holiday buying this year. Think about ways in which you can take a segment of data and then use data that comes from Facebook or Google, like interest or recency, and layer them layer them together. Sorry, guys. Um, think about excluding. So instead of uploading your entire customer list for remarketing or for lookalike audiences, you may want to exclude a group of people like, here's everyone who is on my list who has never actually kept anything they bought from me. They return everything. I don't want more of them, and I don't want to advertise more to them. So those are exclusions. And lookalike, you can say, I have a million past customers. I'm going to create lookalike audiences based on that. Well, you might also have 50,000 customers that spend 10 times more than anyone else. They're probably even better to create lookalike audiences off of. So trying to isolate from the larger data set that you have, the information that can then run through algorithms.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. So I wanted to talk a little bit about how we can drive loyalty for you all. First one I want to talk about here is loyalty program descriptions. So we're going to be testing different features across free and paid listings in 2022. So one of those is this loyalty program description. So here you'll be able to show potential customers the benefits of your loyalty program, or I should say existing customers, which is really cool to be able to get them excited about staying loyal and being loyal in this age of, I guess, lack of loyalty. So really excited about these callouts as well within the shopping ads. And the next one I wanted to share with you all today is
on the advocacy side. This is just trying to get more past customers, and maybe not even customers themselves, just more evangelists talking about you. More people who talk about you, more people who know about you in the future. That's going to look good for you in your numbers.
awesome, cool, thanks, yeah. Just to go back to that previous point, we don't have to go back in the slide, Nick, but I just wanted to share that you're able to, within that loyalty program feature, you're also able to enable users to link your program to their profile and unlock access to different kinds of launches from your business. And you can also offer loyalty pricing. So those were the 3 features that we'll be able to include in those free and paid listing ads. But I know that we've moved into, yes, thanks, Nick. We've moved into the advocacy, so we're okay to move forward to your next slide. And so when it comes to advocacy, really advocacy, we're looking at it through the lens of YouTube and the power of creators on YouTube to actually drive that advocacy. So as shown here, we're experimenting with letting creators tag different products in their organic videos themselves, which is really cool. So viewers can see the list of featured products by clicking the shopping bag icon on the bottom left corner of the video. And from there, viewers can explore each product's pages to see more information about the product, check out related videos, for example, and also understand what are the purchase options for that product. Really, our primary goal here with this experiment, and again, it's still in experimental mode, is to improve the viewer experience around discovery and learning more about new products. And it will also help unlock those valuable audience signals to support advertisers' ad performance across different aspects of the cycle. So again, this is a really cool aspect that I think will be really relevant for advocacy. In addition to some of the other areas of the shopping campaigns that we can focus on to increase the advocacy. For example, seller ratings are so important, and so the Google customer reviews data is accepted by seller ratings, so that'll help you gain seller ratings on search ads and shopping ads. The product ratings as well, the Google customer reviews data is accepted by product level ratings, helping you gain product reviews and ratings when you show your products on Google. When it comes to engagement, product ratings and seller ratings can result in more qualified shoppers visiting your site. So it's really important to keep this top of mind for advocacy. And finally, it's possible to have a badge for your website. So Google Customer Reviews badge will help you let users know what other customers have said about their experiences directly on your site. So really cool stuff to help out advocacy within the shopping landscape.
Awesome. Logan, can you bring us home with some rapid fire tips on how to kind of lock in your best performing stuff?
Sure. Yeah, we'll keep it quick and snappy. Yeah, I've had the pleasure of auditing close to 200 Google Ads accounts in the last 2 years. So trying to round up some of the common pitfalls and issues that we find and basically give that knowledge to all of you. So one of the biggest things that can hold back scalability in an account is the way that you measure performance. And using a non-last click attribution model like data-driven is the best way to see the entire ads funnel and to see which ads are actually driving revenue performance. So this type of attribution, it's going to guide your investment dollars and unlock scalability for your account if you're not already using it. And you should always use the Google Ads tag, which is going to be the best at kind of determining which ads are driving the revenue and driving the value. And if you qualify for data-driven, a new feature in the last year that we are super excited about is that data-driven is now truly cross-network within Google. So before it was just like search and shopping, whereas the distribution of credit given. Now YouTube, display, discovery, all those formats are included within data-driven attribution. So it allows you to invest more in the full marketing funnel there. All right, the next piece is using strategy when you're aligning a bidding strategy to a campaign. And we see mistakes here all the time where people are using really the wrong bid strategy for the campaign objective. So you think about your campaigns, they have objectives of either maybe driving revenue, driving leads, driving phone calls, maybe their visibility campaigns. Aligning the right automated bidding strategy that Google has to offer with the campaign objective is really crucial. And if you don't, you'll end up either double counting or, or you might not be investing as much as you should be in an area, or maybe over investing because sometimes we see double counting, things like that. So that alignment is going to, again, guide the investment and make your ad dollars more effective. Cool. The next point here, this is something that often holds accounts back that I audit, and it's the account structure. So we see a lot of poor groupings in terms of products and keywords, and people kind of just lump them all together, or they think that they can lump all products together in a certain category or a certain brand. When you look under the hood, the performance of those products can actually significantly hinder the results of the campaigns. So we often see really poor performing products grouped in with really strong performers in Google Shopping, for example, and being able to segment those out, not just by the logical groupings of brand, category, but also by performance-based groupings is going to unlock much more scalability for your account. All right, the next one, CPCs. I wish we had a poll here. How many people have experienced huge increases in CPCs over the last year? It's a huge amount of merchants have experienced in a lot of verticals, big increases in cost per click. So you have to use every tool in your tool belt at this point to try to drive that cost down. And one of those tools can be leveraging a relatively new metric from Google called ad strength. And ad strength is basically measuring the relative strength of your ad based on different factors like the click-through rate and how well the keywords relate to the ad text, relate to the landing page ultimately. So the stronger the ad strength, the higher ad rank you're going to achieve. And it's certainly something that we see in a lot of accounts where sometimes half the ads, sometimes all the ads are in the lower percentile in terms of the ratings. They have poor rating, average rating, where you really want to be up there in the excellent tier. It's kind of like an old school tactic, but Google now has the way to measure it, and you can improve on it if you put the elbow grease in. All right, and we always say we need to lock in the visibility for the terms that matter. So on the text side, we still do have access to match types, which allow us to dictate, how many searches will come in on a certain term, how wide that search term universe is, and it's really all about balancing visibility with volume. And the areas where you want more volume, you're using, broad match, phrase match, things like that. But some of the match types have gotten a little loose in terms of what they'll allow. So if you really do want to be very focused, exact match is the way to go. And I think it's still an underutilized match type today, especially with recent changes. At Exclusive, we have our own technology that aims to uncover patterns in vast amounts of search query data. So for example, if you are a seller of supplements, you can see how different keyword concepts do, like pills, packs, powders, shakes, drinks, at a really aggregate level, and it allows our team to go in quickly and unlock the areas of opportunity. Excellent. This is one of the final points here. So the product feed, this is so huge. The product feed is the embodiment of your Google Shopping strategy. And the most important part are the custom labels. So labels should be reflective of your product strategy, and labeling things like top sellers, high margin products, gateway products, cross-sell products are going to not only inform your campaign structures, but inform where your investment dollars go in Google Shopping. And we have a really amazing feeds technology that does all of this automatically, seamlessly, and even refreshes performance-based labels regularly. So we often look at these product feeds that I think the top sellers were last updated in like 2016. So we'll do it, monthly, quarterly, to make sure the data is always fresh.
Awesome. Thank you, folks, for the many who have stayed with us. Even as we cross into the next hour, we're going to close this out real quick. We do have an offer for everyone who is still here. We have a process that allows us to learn your entire business, all your competitors, define what the awareness to advocacy plan should be for your business, but we deliver it to you as a plan. And you get to choose whether you want us to be the agency to do it. So typically we start off by learning everything about the genesis of your business, your founders, what makes you special. And then we start to look at your top competitors, who's investing, how are they investing, how are people trending in terms of brand awareness, what makes everyone special and unique. We start to plan out where the investment would be strongest for your growth. Are you already saturating consideration through loyalty and you need to start kicking in awareness and advocacy? So that could be your next phase, and where we should start to see that type of mapping of activity across the different channels. We make sure that on the search side, there's empirically no major gaps that you need to fill in on the organic, shopping, search ads. We also get into consumer behavior. Are your ads driving the right behavior and inspiring people to act in a revenue positive manner? And for loyalty, for advocacy, we start to study all of your competitors' Facebook and email approaches. We have tools to just expose what they're doing, so we can tell you what they're doing and if you're doing a better job. And then we put together a proposal and show you how our universal reporting system will help you report in real time from now on across all channels and find all the gaps in between. And hopefully you want us to do it for you. So that's our offer. We're gonna go ahead and see if anyone is interested in having us do this for you. We put two different yes options, a yes and a Google Ads analysis, please. It's like if you have Google Ads running right now and somewhere 10,000 plus in per month of ad spend would be more than enough for us to be able to do a good job. There's a media amount of data in there, even at a level like that. The more ad spend, obviously, the more we can find in our analysis. And you will have the honor of having Logan put this together and present it for you alongside myself or my colleague Liam Bickerton. So I'm gonna allow this to run just for a little while longer. And folks, if the answer is no, it's not a big deal. You can just type in no. We'd rather just get an answer from you if that's okay. And a lot of maybes, we'd love to reach out to you and just explain what our whole philosophy is and our approach. So we'll close this out now in 3, 2, 1. We do have some questions that are here in the Q&A box. So we'll oh, by the way, everyone's gonna get a copy of this recording and PDF. So hopefully you took notes of what was really important to you. Let's see here. Does the knowledge gained through Google Ads training apply to Facebook ads? Stephen Orth. There's a lot of demographic data that's available in Google Ads that could be applicable when you start to get into custom intent, or when the custom intent audiences and some of the targeting in Facebook do overlap. You also can see your auction insights in Google Ads, which will give you a really good sense of the competitors that you may want to compete against on Facebook. But there's also the nature of how your display ads or your videos on YouTube are performing that could be converted into ad types on Facebook. Since that was a Facebook specific question, I take that one. What do you guys, anyone that you want to take specifically, Cesar?
I guess maybe we can go in order. And I think the next one here was with regards to these suggestions, whether they were for online learning or a service. And I would say definitely think about the lead formats. That's a great opportunity to follow the same kind of structure across the Virtuous activity cycle, but fueling it with lead forms. And also thinking about how you can try to determine what each lead is worth to you, and then also including that into the conversion tracking so that you can empower your algorithms to value different lead types accordingly.
Yep, and the question was, do any of your great suggestions here work for ads promoting online learning or a service? Yeah, that's awesome. Logan, you got one?
This one might be best for Cesar also. I'll read it though, but it says, what is the best way to learn about the various promotional opportunities in the Google universe?
Oh, that's a good question. So I know that, through our agency partnership program, we have a newsletter that we are going to develop so that our partnership with Exclusive, everyone involved has insight into what's the newest and the best across the Google spectrum. A lot of it is manual on our end, working with different product and beta teams and making sure that Exclusive stays top of the game. And then also I would say to understand really the bread and butter of what's next. In around May, you're going to see Google Marketing Live announcements flow out, and that's a great time to really tune in and think about what does the innovation roadmap look like, and how can I incorporate that for my business across 2022, 2023. So May, Google Marketing Live, stay tuned.
Awesome. Yeah, we love that. That's just a lot of fresh ways to get even one more rung of growth for our clients, which is great. Bonnie's asking, do you write the ads? Yeah, Bonnie, we write the ads for our clients. We optimize Google Shopping feeds so that the text there is improved. We create the text ads for display, but then we also create the display ad visuals, the animated display ads, the bumper videos for YouTube. But starting with writing, yes, there's also some ads that might use some more dynamic formats that don't necessarily need to be written entirely. But I think that's all the questions that we got here. Folks, you've got a great team if you want to ask any other specific questions that have been bothering you over the course of the last 12 months. But if not, then just want to wish everyone a phenomenal 22. Hopefully we get a chance to engage and chat sometime face to face or FaceTime to FaceTime. Cesar, thank you so much for providing. I mean, where we started off with 160 slides worth of information that we distilled down. Where these are ways that we could focus. We're focused on the same thing. What you guys are building and what we've been embracing, where we see the most activity. It's just a pleasure to work with you guys and you specifically. Thank you, Cesar.
Thank you all for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks, Logan.
Thank you, Nick.
Appreciate everyone's time. All right. Cheers, everyone. Have a good one.
Cheers. Take care. Bye.
See you in a couple weeks.